Right now, when you look at LeBron James is the kind of player that makes you sick. Okay? It makes me sick. I want to hurl. Every time I hear he's breaking another record. This guy is going to have every single record. And of course, Luka Doncic came out and said that LeBron James, with his longevity, could have 70,000 points. Because if he's there and he's passing them a ball and they're making this team an all-star team, which it looks like that's where they're heading, he's gonna play for another 3 or 4 years. Hey, Tom Brady played till he was 45 years old. Why can't LeBron? Tom Brady. Basketball is different from football, but LeBron James is not getting hit. He doesn't have to worry about anything. All LeBron James has to worry about is running up and down the court and getting his statistics. And he's getting every one of them. LeBron James is going to have every single statistic in NBA history by the time he's retired. And he's not Michael Jordan. I don't want to hear it. And Shaq, stop with this Steph Curry thing. There is no comparison. Eat your words. Dude, I used to put you in the top 10. I don't even think you're a top 10 player. You're a top 10 idiot. I just don't understand it. And as far as what I've seen with LeBron James and this Laker team is definitely going to the Western Conference Finals. I do not believe OKC, as good as they are, and Hartenstein is playing at the top of his game. He's one of the best big men in the league. There's no question. I do not believe, I repeat, I do not believe still that OKC has enough to get over the hump. The only team right now that can compete with this Laker team is the Golden State Warriors. And you know what? You want me to tell you why? Because when you look at championship teams, you have to know how to get there. And when you look at OKC, tell me one player right now in OKC that's played in the finals. Tell me one player on the Grizzlies that have played in the finals. The only team that we're looking at on the top 5 is the Nuggets. And do you trust Russell Westbrook? Every time you watch Russell Westbrook go to another team, he ruins them. And LeBron James, he's laughing to the bank. Steph Curry, he's laughing to the bank. As we heard Steve Kerr come out and say, well, we just want to make the playoffs. Are you drunk? Are you seriously drunk? You knew when you got Jimmy Buckets, you were heading all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and you're on your trajectory. You're on your way to play LeBron James and Luka Doncic in the Western Conference Finals. One of those teams are going to represent the West, and we don't even know who's going to represent the East because all of the 3 top teams are back and forth with one another, playing with each other or playing with themselves. I am so tired of listening and hearing LeBron James' name. Every time we talk about basketball, LeBron James' name pops up. Anthony Edwards. We talked about Anthony Edwards. Who came out and spoke? LeBron James. It's always LeBron James. Let's just, like I said, LJA. LeBron James Association. This is Adam Silver's way. It's Adam Silver's way or the friggin' highway. And you're right. The Mavericks might get the number 2 or number 1 pick. Who the hell cares? LeBron James and Luka are probably going to win the West for the next 4 or 5 years because the NBA wants it. The Lakers. Where's Jack Nicholson when you need him? He's probably on his deathbed, watching this. He's probably laughing to the bank. I am going to have a heart attack because all we do is talk about LeBron friggin' James.
Fish, cue up the Shining meme with Jack Nicholson for.
I'm going to throw up.
That'll be perfect.
Steph Curry and LeBron James. It's always about these two. I'm tired of it.
LeBron, we say it, he's second greatest player ever behind Jordan. He's got 50,000 points. By the time he's done, he'll have 10,000 points more than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's out of control. No one really thought that was going to happen. I will say this: comparing his stats today as a 40-year-old to what he was like on the Heat team makes no sense. Because first off, they all had to sacrifice on that Heat team to get so that they all had shots. So LeBron wasn't going to have the points that he would have had on a lesser team on that Heat team, number one. Number two, the game's very different because of Curry, as we said. Those teams started playing more of that 5-out look. It was still it wasn't as much like that until Curry. So I would say the game's a little bit more wide open, scoring's up since that era about a decade ago. So I think that's kind of silly to say that he's better now than he was back then when he was, he could touch the top of the backboard when he was younger. I mean, the stuff that they were doing, there's the famous alley-oop from Wade to LeBron that everyone sees on the highlights. It's just, he was unbelievable back then. Right now, he's still a great player. Is he the best player in the league like it was back then? No. Is he a top 10, top 15 player? Yeah. Maybe top 10. I don't know. Errol, what do you think? Top 10 right now?
Oh, he's definitely a top 7, top 8 player right now. I mean, he's averaging 29 points in the last 10 games, 12 games.
Player of the month last month for the Western
He's
Conference.
definitely a top 7 player right now. He's playing better ball than Giannis. He's playing better ball than a lot of these guys. And he went from the 4th best team to the 2nd best team. And as good as Luka Doncic has played since he's gone there, LeBron James is still the best player on that team and that roster. So that says a lot about what LeBron James is doing right now. It is unbelievable as a guy that's 40 years old putting up the numbers. We said that about Tom Brady when he was playing in the league. It was unbelievable what he was doing as a 40-year-old man. But you know this, and I know, Owen, you're going to say the same thing, and a lot of people are thinking this. The way people are training now than they were in the 80s and the 90s, the facilities that they have and the ability that they have to train their bodies throughout the year. They have chefs traveling with them. They didn't have that in the 80s and the 90s. They really didn't. They have it. Every single player has their own chef. As we've heard, Bam Adebayo during the United States, during that Netflix, Go for Gold or whatever the hell it was called, he had his own chef hanging out with him and playing dominoes with him. I mean, every single one of those guys had their own chef. So, I mean, it's different now. The NBA is different because there's more money to throw around. That's the only reason why I think players are playing longer, and you can see the longevity. Steph Curry's going to play at least another 3 more years. Why wouldn't he? I mean, he's still a great shooter. He doesn't really need to worry anymore because the Golden State Warriors already know he's going to stay there. He had a chance to go to Lakers. He had a chance to be traded. He doesn't want to be traded. He believes he can still win over there. And if he believes he can still win, aka the United States, and what he did in that 4th quarter, I absolutely believe Steph Curry thinks he can win another 1 or maybe even 2 championships in the next 3 to 4 years.
LeBron's been great for years and years and years and years. So as much as I don't like LeBron or what he stands for or who he is as a player, 50,000 points is pretty impressive, right? So give credit where credit's due. As far as what he's doing the last, I would say since Steph Curry became relevant, 15 years, and Steph Curry's been changing the league, he doesn't have to deal with the big man. He's going inside getting layups against 4s that should be 3s, 3s that should be 2s, and they don't have a true center anymore. Like Rudy Gobert in the playoffs, he's like the last true center. He gets dominated because they just stretch him out and he looks like a fool. So LeBron has a wide open lane to go, and then every time he goes in that wide open lane, it's a chance for an and one because he gets all the calls. So for the last 15 years, he doesn't have to go into a tree trunks like Pau Gasol and Andrew Bynum or Shaq or Yao Ming or Tim Duncan, all those guys that were back in the way olden days like Kobe had to deal with. I mean, but LeBron is great. I think what he's done for the game is he's kind of ruined it, especially like the All-Star game. Doesn't partake in dunk contest, doesn't partake in the All-Star game, goes there, doesn't even put on the jersey, takes a picture in street clothes because he thinks he's better than the NBA. And what we just said is the LJA, LeBron James Association?
Yes, LJA. That's what we're going to call it now.
He shows it.
Don't call it the NBA anymore. LJA, LeBron James Association.